And Nintendo Nick, and welcome to Pocket for Wednesday, the 15th of June. Today on the show, it's Nintendo, and then we mop up all the E3 news we haven't covered yet. All right, let's start with Nintendo. This year, they didn't hold a press conference or host an extended Nintendo Direct, but instead had a smaller showing featuring only a few games at their booth. The headliner was Legend of Zelda, and that game was finally bestowed its last name, Breath of the Wild. First, we saw a trailer which shows off the gorgeous cel-shaded open world, apparently 12 times larger than Twilight Princess and way more attractive. It also includes a few of the activities you can expect to perform in the new Hyrule, including hunting, horse taming, and climbing. Lots and lots of climbing. Also, I don't know what he's holding on when he's climbing. He kind of just gives some flat hands as he goes off a tree or a cliff. Maybe he's Spider-Man. That's a hell of a crossover. Spider-Man and Link? Spider-Link. Link-Man. Link-Man. No, Spider-Link, otherwise it wouldn't make sense why you can climb without a rope. Spider-Link. You know what, Spider-Man's probably better. Next up was an extended demo of the game, which showed off the first half hour or so. From this, we learned that the game is truly about Link's journey and relationship to the wilderness of Hyrule, with lots of hunting, gathering, and exploration tied into the mechanics. It does seem quite different than Zelda's of the past. If this game is as fun to play as it is to look at and has none of that Twilight Princess bullshit in it, then the NX is off to a good start. Plus, for the three of you still using Miitomo, there are a number of Zelda-themed items coming to the app today to celebrate the announcement. We also saw footage of Pokemon Sun and Moon, which included a few new critters to catch, plus a new mode which allows up to 4 players to battle against each other at once. Nintendo then confirmed the release date for Paper Mario Color Splash. The game was announced back in March this year and will be available for the Wii U on the 7th of October. As a fan of previous Paper Marios, this is good news. As a non-owner of a Wii U, this is bad news. And also, new Super Mario Amiibos were announced for release in November, and making their debut in plastic, we'll get Daisy, Waluigi, and a glow-in-the-dark Boo. As is the trend for new Nintendo games, Breath of the Wild will be getting a few Amiibos too, including a Link riding a horse, a Link wielding a bow, and a Guardian, which will be the first Amiibo with flexible parts in the form of posable robot tentacles. No word on what those tentacles will do in-game yet, but it is Japanese. Finally, a trailer for the RPG Swipe 'em Up Severed showed that it is making its way from the Vita to the 3DS and Wii U, but a concrete release date and price for the game wasn't announced. It will also be coming to iOS. I feel like this is good news for Drinkbox, who made the game, because more people will get to play Severed, but it is bad news for the Vita because they're losing one of the few exclusives they actually have, and it's just like putting another foot of concrete on the grave of the Vita. All right, moving on from Nintendo now, and were you disappointed by the lack of an Elder Scrolls 6 announcement at the Bethesda conference? Well, get your excitement pants on, guys, because it is coming! Eventually. During an interview at YouTube's Live on E3, Todd Howard confirmed that Bethesda is working on 3 new projects, one of which is an Elder Scrolls game. Yeah. A real one. My boy Toddy also explained that the game is a very long way off, and that we're likely to hear about the other 2 major projects first, but in a similar fashion to Fallout 4, we'll most likely get them soon after they're revealed. And staying with the Elder Scrolls, if you own the Legendary Edition of Skyrim or the base version, but you also bought all the DLC, then you, my friend, are getting a free version of the remaster coming October 28th. Next up, and it's high noon for Overwatch characters McCree and Widowmaker, because they just got nerfed. According to Blizzard, McCree's alternate fire felt too strong against all targets and has now been reduced from 70 damage to 35, while Widowmaker's sniper rifle will do less damage on non-headshots, and it will take 10% longer to use her ultimate ability. The update also fixed a few bugs and balance issues in the game, including a bug that allowed Reaper to find himself in all sorts of sticky situations. Considering the game has over 10 million players, it's great to see Blizzard reacting quickly to changes as they come up. And that, my friends, feels like a great place to leave it for now as we head into Thing of the Day, Overwatch Edition. But first, it's Thing of the Day! Soon to be coming to Vita and 3DS! Nothing matters. The worry gets lost in the crowd. Thing of the day. Overwatch! There ain't no party like a Hanzo party. That's all I have to say about this. Crank it! Thing of the day. Do you like that sexy new white Xbox One S, but you also want more power? Well, good news for you, because Coalition studio head Rod Ferguson came out and said the new Xbox One S has additional raw GPU and CPU power compared to the OG console. This means Gears 4 will have improved surface detail on things like metal and armor, and it will operate at a higher technical performance. Not as powerful as the Scorpio, obviously, but if you are looking to buy a new Xbox One this year to replace the Xbox One you bought 2.5 years ago, but before you buy a new Xbox One next year, then this Xbox One might be the one for you. Or you could just buy a PC. Moving on, and Bound got a new trailer that's coming out for PlayStation 4 and PSVR, and it looks gorgeous. Like, my jacket gorgeous. It's got a touch of The Journey about it, and interestingly, it's also a third-person camera in VR, which will let you swing around to see the character you're playing from whatever position you want. The game drops in August, and then so do my tears. And staying with PSVR, here is the PSVR aim controller. In a blog post about sci-fi shooter Farpoint, Sony announced that the PSVR aim controller will offer direct one-to-one tracking that allows you to aim within the game just as you would in real life, and will let you do things you can't do in non-virtual first-person shooters. Sounds cool. Looks stupid. But if PlayStation VR ain't for you, then maybe you should throw some money at Razer, because they announced a second edition of their VR headset development kit for their open source VR platform. The headset, named the Hacker Development Kit 2, is technically on par with the other headsets on the market, has diopters that allow many people with glasses to play without wearing their prescriptions, and will work with Steam VR games that don't require motion controls. The headset launches in July for $399 American dollars. How many VR headsets are too many VR headsets? I think we're about to find out. Now, one of the most fun shooters of the last decade was Bulletstorm, and we may be getting an Xbox One remaster of that game. Microsoft's been handing out a thumb drive with promotional assets on it, and on that drive there's a folder called, shockingly, Bulletstorm Remaster. The drive has a few screenshots and a 4K image of the environment. The Bulletstorm environment, not like the Cumberland State Forest. However, neither developers People Can Fly nor the original publisher EA have confirmed the news. And staying with fun shooters, are you curious as to why we didn't see any Crackdown 3 at Microsoft's presser yesterday? Well, that's because they are filled with shame. The game has been delayed to 2017 after originally being slated for a third quarter 2016 launch. According to the devs, this is because the multiplayer is taking longer than expected, and that, quote, our top priority is to give gamers an experience they have never seen before at a scale never thought possible, and sticking to our original timeline would have compromised that goal. This is the second straight E3 Crackdown 3 has been absent from. At this point, I'm beginning to think it's us, not them. And finally, one of Nicky's most anticipated games, Tacoma, has received a gameplay overhaul. Fulbright, the Gone Home devs, announced in March that they were changing up the gameplay in response to testers and their own feedback. They unveiled the new gameplay this week, and while it doesn't look too radically different, mechanically there are all sorts of new features in there, like the ability to fast forward and rewind time. The game will drop next year, and so too will my tears. Alright, that's it for today's episode of Pocket. My Pocketeers! What is tickling your nugs? What do you like in this episode? Besides me just doing this while making really strong eye contact with you. Let me know in the comments, because on tomorrow's episode of Pocket, we're gonna do kind of a wrap up of the week, and I wanna know what you guys are excited for, and maybe what you're not so excited for. And while you're on the internet, check out Good Game on Facebook, YouTube, and iView. Wanna meet fellow Pocketeers? Then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. You can follow Good Game on Twitter at Good Game TV, follow Pocket at NichBoy, at Pierreth, at GG, at Monkey, at SamGee, and for the next couple of days at TobyGV. There are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's thing of the day was made by BPR ADP. If you've made a thing, please send it in, but before you send your thing in, make sure you check out the thing that Goose made. GG at E3 will be up on the Good Game YouTube channel later on this evening. Until tomorrow, NugBoy out. They're heavier than they look.